Alright guys, so today let's take a look at something that is not a Gundam. Now it has been a little while since I have put together a Kotobukiya Zoid kit. Not just any Zoid kit, but this is from the HMM line, the Highend Master Model line. And when I first started doing Gunpla TV, gosh, almost 4 years ago I think it was, there was a really cool one that came out at that time that when I saw it I was just really wanting to build, and thankfully Sid let me build that one. That was the Death Stinger. I couldn't remember the name originally on that last episode of Gunpla TV, so I had to look it up, but it was the Death Stinger. That was a really cool looking scorpion looking one, and that was actually the first Zoid kit that I had ever built and put together, and this is going to be the third one that I have completed, I shall say, because I do have a fourth one. If you're a longtime viewer of Gunpla TV, you might remember that I did start on a Gojulus a long time ago, but I have not finished that kit, and someday I hope to finish it. And I did. So this is the second of the high-end master models that I've built after the Death Stinger, and I did one of the motorized kits, one of the motorized Ligers a while ago. So let's take a look at this latest one, which is going to be called the the Dark Horn, and this is kit number 21 in the HMM lineup. I saw this one just like that Death Stinger. I saw this one sitting on that shelf, and I thought it just looked quite awesome, and I just had to build it. I basically saw it on the shelf, and I took it home, and I had this thing put together in just 2 days. So that gives you an idea of how long exactly it will take to put together one of these. Now, it does look quite busy. There are a lot of parts to it, and compared to a Bandai kit, really it's a bit more tricky, I would say, to put together. Bandai kits lately, they just go together quite really like butter, and there's just really no hassle at all to them. But the Kotobukiya kits still can be a bit trickier, so keep that in mind if you are planning to go ahead and buy one of these or any of the other Kotobukiya high-end master model Zoid kits. Now this one here, the Dark Horn, this one currently, as of recording this video, is still currently in stock and available to order on our site, HobbyLink Japan, HLJ.com. So if you are interested in this one and you would like to order it, I do recommend going to the site, following that link below in the description below, and getting the order in as soon as possible. If you are watching this video, however, maybe sometime after this kit has been released, unfortunately it might not be available at that time. That is one unfortunate thing about the Kotobukiya HMM Zoid lineup, is they kind of come and go in batches. Kotobukiya, they'll release it and they only produce so many, and then eventually they'll run out of stock and it'll go discontinued. But however, I say that, but if you keep watching on our site, Kotobukiya does reissue the high-end master model lineup. They do have reissues periodically, so even if you can't order this one right now, there is a chance that you still will be able to order it in the future. So let's get back to talking about this specific kit itself. Now, I mentioned that I just saw this one on the shelf and I thought it looked really awesome, and I really wanted to build it. And that's the reason why that is because, one, I really dig the color scheme on this kit. The Death Stinger that I built, that was acrylic, kind of really cool, also purplish, and kind of had a bit dark pink kind of color to it. But this one, I kind of like the more subdued, more militaristic colors. Now this one is just pure black with silver and some nice green accents to it there on the legs, as well as that lighter green colored plastic on the inner frame for the body and inside of the head. So the combination of the colors was one of the things that really drew me to this kit. And the other thing that really drew me to this kit was, as you can see, that's rotating around into view right now, is these massive weapons. This is just quite awesome. I love that huge Gatling gun that he has on the back, as well as his other large gun on the side, as well as the combination of these other guns brimming around the other side. That just looks quite fantastic. I absolutely love the amount of guns that this thing is packing. He's packing quite a lot of heat, I have to say. Alright, so yeah, this is based off of a Styracosaurus dinosaur. Now I had to look that up, to be honest, because I did not remember the Styracosaurus. Everybody remembers like the Triceratops and the Stegosaurus, but Styracosaurus is not one that I remembered off the top of my head. So that is where this Zoid kit gets its animal form from. So let's take a look at what we also get on this kit. Alright, so directly inside the center of this kit, just like all the other Zoid kits, we are going to have and I'm going to use the manual because there's no way in heck that I am cracking that thing open to show this part off. It is the Zoid Core, so you get this nice clear colorful marble that you plug into part of the kit, and then once you get it on the inside you can't see it anymore. So yeah, this is inside somewhere. So that is another cool thing about the Zoid kit. So let's see, this thing also has the cockpit. Now there are actually like 3 different cockpits around this kit, so let's take a look at all of them. And the first one is going to be here inside of the head, so you can flip that open there, and this is kind of all buried on the inside, but there should be, let's see if it focuses there. There's going to be a pilot that was sitting on the inside of this cockpit here, so that was kind of cool to put it together. It's one of those cool things, you put it together, you know it's there, but then you really just can't see it again after that. So the other cockpits, there is one here on the back. I'm guessing this guy is going to be in charge of controlling all the massive weapons on the back of this kit. So this thing is here. Now, another thing, when I'm talking about these cockpits, another thing I really wanted to mention, unlike the Bandai kits, you never ever, at least the newer Bandai kits, you don't need to add glue at all because everything beautifully snaps together, everything holds together. The Zoid kit, there are actually some call-outs in the manual. I'm getting sidetracked. Sorry about that, but the cockpit just reminded me about something. So here, let's show this off. So in the manual for this Zoid kit, you will notice that there are some parts here where you are going to need to put some glue in order for the part to hold on, because this landing gear here at the end of the tail, it doesn't have like the pegs for like a snap type connection. So if you want to have this landing gear here on the back of the tail, then you're going to need some glue. Now why did I remember and start talking about the glue when I'm talking about the cockpit? Because let me actually just see if I can maybe pull this thing off. This part is snapped in here, so here's the cockpit right here. Now, this thing was a bit tricky to put together. You sandwich it, there's the 2 black parts on the sides and the silver thing in the center, plus the driver, and if you can see there, maybe that'll focus on there, you see there's 2 kind of black pegs on the top and the bottom with a little tiny silver thing in the center. That's actually his, whoops, let me dump that out there. Let's see, get a better look at the inside there. He has like a little control stick, which he's going to use to kind of pilot this thing. And this thing is just, I'm just going to leave the driver out for a second. This thing is just all sandwiched in together. Now I found that these parts, even after they were sandwiched together, they would fall apart. That's just the pegs on this thing wasn't really strong enough to keep this thing held together at all times, I found. So I went out and I got my Tamiya extra thin glue. It's the Tamiya extra thin glue and the extra thin glue strong. Those are the best glues available, I think. So I just put a few dabs of glue on here, and then after that this thing did not fall apart on me at all again. So there is that. So one cockpit here on the back, and you can kind of see there's a couple of peg holes there that this thing is just going to sit on. I have to be careful with handling this kit because I'm a bit afraid of it falling apart on me, I will say. And there's another cockpit here on the back end of the tail. So each one of these cockpits, you can kind of see through that clear window there. There are 3 different pilot figures included with this kit. So, and even though I did mention that I glued these cockpits together here, I did not glue the clear green canopy. So this is still able to open up if you would like to have it. And there's really nothing kind of holding it on there. Alright, so yeah, all of the guns on this kit here, even the little tiny ones on the side, they all can articulate, and you can point them in different directions here on the back, even these little ones on the side. Now the ones that are like the horns, the top of the head, these also have the ability to, and because of these slots here, you can actually kind of rotate them forward if you would like to have them in the kind of crazy forward type firing position. You can do that. Let's take a look at some of the articulation, which is not one of my favorite things to really ever cover on a kit, to be quite honest. And let's go ahead and just take this leg off. Actually, it popped off on me anyway. So you can see the legs are connected by a kind of polycap joint like we get on the Gundam kits. This is a nice giant big kind of polycap there. So let's take a look at the leg itself. So the foot is able to kind of angle up and down, and it is able to also go side to side. So up and down and side to side. The knee joint is also able to rotate. No side to side action at all, but you are able to get some posability out of these tiny little legs. Now let's rotate him around. It's going to be basically the same for the back foot. It's able to go side to side. Although one thing to note, actually this one as well, there is a joint here at the bottom of the foot and the top of that ankle joint there. So you get a joint here and one at the top as well. So that's going to be able to give you a little bit extra range of motion, at least for the feet. So the same joint for the knee there, as well as the hip. Because of that polycap here, it can kind of angle in and out a little bit, but that polycap is not maybe the strongest thing in the world, and I find these legs tend to kind of pop off a little bit, so you might not want to move them around too much. So the tail, let's move on to the tail of this kit. So the tail can articulate. It's got some range of movement here. Let's be sure to get it on camera, side to side, as well as up and down. There you have it. So you can move around the tail a bit if you want to get some extra posability out of that as well. Now there is also a joint in the center of the kit, which gives you a tiny bit of movement on this thing, but I'm going to be quite honest, it is not a whole lot. And that joint, I kind of wish it wasn't there, because it makes this thing easy to kind of pop off and it falls apart because of that joint there. So there is that. So one thing to be cautious about on this kit as well. All right, so let's see, what else have I missed? Really, aside from that limited bit of articulation on this guy, there is really not a whole lot of articulation to be had. All right, so on the manual, it shows for the names of the weapons, we got Weapon 1, Weapon 2. So really exciting names that it gives for the weapons, at least in as far as the English goes in this instruction manual. They don't really go too detailed into the weapon names, although I will say that one cool thing about the instruction manual is they do have this nice kind of line art pictures that they've drawn, if you can read the Japanese, and it gives more into the details about the kit and the armor. Now, if you have a smartphone, one cool thing that you can do if you have a smartphone, then you can take a picture of these texts and download the Google Translate application. And then when you load up that picture in the Google Translate application, you can kind of highlight over the foreign language text, and it will give you a rough translation. Especially for Japanese, it is not perfect, but you will get a good idea, at least, of what it is kind of talking about. So just wanted to throw that useful tip out there for you guys. If you do not know already, although I think that Google Translate application is kind of well known by this point, at least I would hope it should be. So get all these images in here for you guys. Really, really awesome looking images. Now it also has the color call out guides here. So if you would like to paint these kits, it's going to tell you what colors to mix together in order to get the colors you need. And then we have it also for the legs there as well. Now, this is another thing I have not yet mentioned about this kit, because this is not a Bandai kit. It talks about Waterslide decals and how to apply them. Now you might be wondering, wait a second, Waterslide decals? Are you serious? Yes, indeed I am. This kit comes with a nice, I think that's upside down there, a nice decent sheet of some Waterslide decals here. I'm keeping it inside the plastic bag so it doesn't get ruined by my touching it here, but that's pretty cool. If you want to go all out, paint and decal this kit, you definitely can do that. Okay, so I think that is about all that I am going to mention about this kit. So hopefully it won't be too long before I can build another Zoid kit. Now, if you really like this kind of thing, if you want to challenge something different from a Bandai Gundam kit, definitely give a Highend Master Model kit a try, especially if you like these Zoid kits. Now I will definitely mention that it is a bit more finicky than what you will expect or what you will get with a Bandai kit, especially even a master grade kit, even a perfect grade kit. These Zoid kits, I find them to be a little bit more finicky. And the instruction manuals, if you're used to the really nice detailed Bandai instruction manuals, they're not bad. I won't say they're bad per se. It's just not as nice as what I've become used to with building those Bandai kits all the time, and especially how the parts fit together. It's not as perfect as a Bandai kit, but it's not bad either. It's really decent, and once you get it all put together, it looks quite awesome. Just love all of the busy details on this kit, just a million tiny little details on this kit. And the whole thing actually only took me around 2 days to put together, so it wasn't quite that bad at all. But yes, as I mentioned earlier, you will need to have some glue. At least for this kit. Some of the other ones I don't think might not need glue, but definitely you should expect, if you're going to build a Zoid kit, you will need glue at some point. Now I don't think I actually did show off this one weapon here. There's that one thing on the side. This just slides down and it shows the rocket launchers here on this side. So there is that. Oh, another thing I did forget to mention, it has this nice soft rubber part for this connection here, as well as, I don't think I ever showed off the underside of this kit, so you can get a good look at what comes underneath the kit. Now, there's an interesting thing inside of this kit. There are like 2 flexible type of hose lines, but once you get it all put together, you don't see them at all again after that, and they were kind of a pain in the butt to get in there and get them running correctly. So I just wanted to mention that before I end the video here. Alright guys, thanks for watching. As I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, this kit is available. It is in stock right now as I'm filming this, although there's a small quantity. Although, as I also mentioned, Kotobukiya has a tendency to reissue their HMM Highend Master Model kits at some point. So even if you aren't able to buy it at this point, there is a chance that you will be able to buy this version or a different version of the same kind of dinosaur at some point in the future. Alright, thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you again soon with another review of a different kit.